Hi, guys. Welcome to the latest Scottsdale Living podcast. I'm with Marisa Rodriguez with Luxe Baby Custom Newborn Care. Hopefully I got that right. Did I get it right?
Yes.
Fantastic. And so this is a woman that you want to know, especially if you have a newborn or you're thinking about having a newborn, or you just want to look back on the times when you did have a newborn. You're like, I didn't sleep at all. So, but Marissa's thing is like her business helps parents kind of get through the hurdles of being a newborn baby owner. I guess you're an owner, right? Or parent.
Yes.
So, I understand that a family of 10 kids is what you came from, right?
Yes.
And you were the oldest?
I am.
So you spent a lot of time probably helping mom and dad with the kids, right?
Yes, I was in the trenches for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So how does that evolve into this?
Honestly, when it kind of came time for me to work, I asked myself, what are my skills?
Sure.
What do I know how to do? Well, I know how to wrangle a lot of kids all at once. I'm comfortable with babies.
Yep.
So I was like, I called a couple professional nanny agencies and got signed up. And within a matter of weeks, I was doing my first live-in nanny position.
Wow.
And it's just really evolved from there.
Totally.
Yeah.
And just to clarify, like, you are not a nanny service. You're way different than that, right?
Yes, I'm a newborn care specialist.
Okay.
I'm a trained postpartum doula, sleep consultant. We wear a lot of hats under this umbrella of newborn care.
And it's kind of, that's kind of a small niche, right? It doesn't seem like it's really a well-known thing.
It is a unique niche. And what's amazing about it is because there's something for everybody.
Sure.
We all practice a little differently. We all work a little differently. And so it is nice. It's kind of like dating. You kind of find somebody who matches your vibe and that you feel comfortable with, because this is such a vulnerable time.
Yeah,
we're
for everybody,
in
right?
somebody's home.
Sure.
We're in their homes, and in some cases I'm living with the family for months at a time, in their personal space.
Sure.
So you really have to communicate and be able to get along, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. So how does a person, what's the process for them to decide that this is the kind of service or professional help that they want? Are they scared about being a parent? Are they nervous? What leads them to you?
I think primarily it can be they're focused on concerned about how to manage their new baby and their lifestyle all at the same time. So it's a matter of, blending with the baby and the baby with them and the lifestyle. Sometimes families are more relaxed and they just want some overnight care and they want to get some sleep at night.
Sure.
Maybe some gentle sleep conditioning. But other families, they live in, multiple places and they have busy lives.
Sure.
And they just need help getting started. So I will go in and kind of help set them up for success, if you will, to make the transition from hospital to home as smooth and seamless as possible. And then a lot of my families travel extensively. So I'm on the road with them.
That's cool.
Making sure that everything is pretty much as if we were at home, except that we're on the road.
And you're actually like giving them the skills, right? So rather than giving them the fish, you're teaching them how to fish kind of thing.
Yes, that's exactly right. Okay. It's a lot of gentle education and hands-on, a lot of support.
Yeah, I love that. So tell me how, you decided to start this business. How long have you been in business now?
So I've been since 2016. I've transitioned full-time into newborn care exclusively. But I just rebranded last summer, but we relaunched last December into Luxe Baby Custom Newborn Care.
Okay.
And the reason I did that is because I felt like I needed a platform that aligned with my clientele.
Sure.
And I also wanted to onboard services that helped all families, not just one particular type of family.
Sure.
And we do custom care. We don't come in and tell you how things need to be or go. I'm coming in and making sure that I'm aligning myself to your lifestyle, your goals, and how you want to parent. And then I'm just helping, bring that together.
Sure. Sure. So kind of walk me through that a little bit, because from what it sounds like you're really ingrained with your client, right?
Yes.
So is that, I mean, do you have a long wait list, or how does that go? Or can you work with multiple families at the same time?
I usually don't work with multiple
Okay.
families at the same time. It's usually one family at a time because
Sure.
especially if it's the 24/7 concierge, so I'm
Sure.
in the home. I can do some consulting on the side depending on my schedule,
Hmm.
but that's why right now I'm offering services where I can support multiple families. I've also onboarded a small team so that
Oh,
when
cool.
things do fill up or overflow,
Hmm.
we have the support that we need to help other families and help more
Sure.
families.
Sure. So, in going through your website and in reading your bio and background a little bit, it seems like there's a lot of focus on sleep, right? Not only sleep for the parents, but sleep for the babies. And it's all holistic and a natural approach to it. So, kind of, talk a little bit about that. How do you help the families? Because I got 4 kids, and I tell you,
Yeah.
I didn't sleep for 10 years, right?
Yeah.
So, it's like, how do you help with that?
Yeah, I mean, that's such a common tale
Yeah.
of going years without sleeping. And, one of my things is I like to tell people that sleepless nights are not a requirement
Hmm.
for new parents. And how that works is, I think, because there's so many misconceptions about babies and sleep.
Sure.
And so for newborns, you don't have to wait. A lot of families think they have to wait till the baby is 4 or 5, 6 months, and then they
Hmm.
do sleep training,
Sure.
which has a lot of negative associations because
Hmm.
people automatically think, oh, cry it
Yeah.
out
It's going to be a battle, right?
and
Yeah.
want to do that, and they're stressed.
Sure.
So what people don't know is that we can condition them gently from the very beginning just by following the baby's natural rhythm and sleep patterns.
Sure.
And as we do that, the baby is sleeping more solid,
Hmm.
stretches, and over time, and when developmentally appropriate, they're weaning themselves from feed and they're sleeping a little bit longer and a little bit longer, and eventually sleeping through the night.
Sure.
But it is a process. So a lot of troubleshooting. It's getting to know your baby, how to read your baby, so
Hmm.
many things, but all gentle.
Sure. Sure. And I imagine and I don't know this for a fact, but the traditional family model from the 50s, right? TV, mom, dad, dad goes off to work, mom's at home with the kids, whatever. So that's changed 100%. I mean,
Absolutely.
you've got single parents now, you've got, same partner couples and
Yeah.
everything. And usually, I mean, from what I've seen, everybody in the house is working, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, how that approach it's got to be huge to help them if they're both in jobs and they both have to go back to work. And, so how long does that process kind of take to get them into the groove, with the baby and with themselves and back
Yeah.
to their normal kind of life,
Yeah, so if you're wanting the full sleep conditioning experience, that's usually 12 weeks.
Okay.
And really depends on the baby
Sure.
because, baby can't sleep at any particular time, and every baby does things
Mhm.
when they're
Well, they're
ready.
humans, right? They got their own
Exactly,
thing.
when
Yeah.
they're ready. But if there aren't any underlying health issues or
Mhm.
feeding issues, things usually move, and they can move before that, but I never sell sleep.
Sure.
I talk about it, I educate families about it, but I'm here to support you. This isn't like a selling thing where I
Yeah,
can
yeah.
get your baby to sleep by 12 weeks
Sure.
and 12 pounds.
Sure.
But yeah, so that's usually the general process. But I also work with a lot of families. I have worked with a lot of families part-time also and help them achieve the same end result.
Sure. Sure. So how does that work? I mean, if you have children already,
Mhm.
so how does that balance fit in there? You bring a newborn into the house with a 5-year-old or a 6-year-old. I mean, do you help them through that process as well?
Actually, I do. I do get involved with some sibling integration
Mhm.
if I'm asked.
Sure.
So that is something that I have a lot of experience with. And some of my families, a lot of them are first-time parents,
Okay.
but many are new again parents.
Sure.
In the past couple of years, I've worked with blended families that
Mhm.
had, 3, 5,
Sure.
3,
Older
5, 8
siblings and
older
yeah.
siblings. And then I worked with a family that, their youngest was 8
Right.
and now they're having a newborn baby. So,
They forgot
so yeah,
everything.
yeah. So
Totally.
it's really cool though, because it doesn't matter. Like I said, if you're a new parent or a new again parent,
Mhm.
you still need support because maybe you did something different and
Sure.
now you're looking for, like, we would really love our baby to have healthy sleep habits.
Sure.
And that's why I think primarily people seek me out.
Yeah, I love that. So tell me a little bit. I thought this was really cool. The baby hotline. So what's the baby hotline?
Yes, your baby hotline. Honestly, so I have one baby. She's 27, and I brought
Still
her.
a baby, right?
Still a baby to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
But when she was a newborn and I brought her home, honestly, even though I had all this experience and hands-on with babies,
Sure.
those first weeks, like, I really didn't know anything about the postpartum period.
Right.
Not just for myself, but for my baby as well. So that was I hit a lot of walls. And I was calling the nurse hotline, which is for you when you're unwell. But I was calling to get advice.
For support, totally.
I guess I was worried. Am I doing this okay? Is she okay? Am I messing it up? So honestly, and a lot of us, we offer this. But for me, I felt like I needed it to be a little different than what everybody else was doing.
Sure.
And so I wanted it also to make it personal. So your baby hotline, because that's what I felt like I needed.
Yeah.
So we're 24/7 messaging service.
Okay.
For new and new again parents that are just looking for some support. Maybe they don't want or need live-in support or overnight support, but they just want to have somebody like an ear, and some extra like virtual hands to help them. So it's great. You get 24/7 unlimited texting, unlimited emails, and then 2 virtual calls per month where they can choose to be either, it can be a Q&A or it can be a topic of education or something that they're going through or that's challenging.
Yeah. So that's a really cool idea. So from a business standpoint, is that like a subscription model or how does that kind of work?
It is based kind of like on a subscription model, and you literally can sign up. Like it could be, midnight, and you could like literally just go to the website, sign up, and start texting.
Like, I need help right now. So
your baby hotline.
Yeah, right. So the $10 million question: who's on the other end of the baby hotline? Is that just you?
Primarily, it's me right now. And then once things, I can't handle it. I have, like I said, I have a small team of 4 right now onboarded. So hopefully when that happens, everybody will be getting help. But I don't, my onboarding process is, they have to be aligned with, obviously, with the way I work. And I'll be offering personal training as well. But I practice respectful and responsive care.
Okay.
So
can you explain that a little more? I'm not really familiar with that.
So I really care for the newborn as a little individual human being.
Gotcha.
And I'm respecting its feeding times, its sleep. I'm respecting their verbal and physical cues.
Sure.
So they're communicating with me, and I'm very in tune to that. I mean, it's almost magical, but like it's hard to explain that like people are like, okay, so how do you know what the baby wants? How do you know what they're telling me?
Experience. You've seen a lot of them, right?
I do, because that is my thing. Like that's what I do, and it is
You're
really
kind of the baby whisperer. Can we call you the baby whisperer?
Yes, I mean people have, but I mean I feel like it really is a baby whisperer thing.
Yeah, that's really cool.
But I do teach that to my families, and over time, because it's not easy in the beginning and it's easy to miss. And even sometimes I could be a little confused.
Yeah.
Because there's the baby's giving me mixed,
some random
signals,
cues. Totally.
Baby. Like, let's be clear here.
Why are you crying and laughing at the same time, kid? What is going on, right?
Yeah. So it's just I'd say like in the beginning weeks, and sometimes it takes a month or 2 for parents to really get into it, but it really is magical because the end result is less crying. Like when you can just walk in the room and tell your 6-week-old, hey, I'm here. I'm just, I'm going to get you. I just got to wash my hands, or we're warming up the bottle, or mommy's coming to get you. Like, just so they know, like maybe you can't pick them up in that moment, but just, they understand your vibe. They understand your tone. And babies are a product of their environment. So what you're giving, to them, that's
what
what
you're going to
they're
get back,
that's what
right?
they're getting, and
Yeah.
that's what they're giving too.
So I definitely want to circle back on the baby hotline, right?
Sure.
But a question that just kind of popped into my mind. I know postpartum depression is a big issue, right?
Yes.
So do you help parents with that, or is that part of the service or part of what you look out for?
Yeah, so I mean, as a trained postpartum doula, I am aware of these things, and a lot of times families need different kinds of support. Sometimes just an emotional support,
Sure.
in between all the things we're doing with the baby. I'm there to make sure mom has a fully stacked nightstand with her snacks, her water.
Sure.
She's
Taking care of her, yeah.
taking care of herself. And when I am on shift, if there's anything that I can do, I check in, and I also am very conscious of what I'm hearing and the tone, because sometimes they're like, "Oh, I'm fine," but you can
You can
see that
see
they're
it.
not.
Sure.
So you can just gently say, "You know what? I got the baby. Why don't you go take a shower?"
Sure.
Or if you want to take a walk, or let's all go take a walk, or just little things, but feeling it out. And if I see something that I'm concerned about, usually in the interview, I will talk to them about it and say that we'll usually go to their partner, because, when you have to have difficult conversations, it's easy to hear it from a loved one.
Sure.
They
Sure.
don't want to hear it. That's not my job. I'm just there to be as supportive as possible and give them the tools and resources if they need to see, if they're hurting and they
Sure.
need more help. I do kind of help facilitate that stuff.
And so do you still see in like the majority of families you work with, is there a primary kind of caregiver between the parents? Like, this is mostly dad or mom or partner A or partner B. Is that kind of how it shakes out?
There you do see a lot of that, but
Okay.
it's really cool. Now I see a lot of teamwork.
Yeah.
Which is
Absolutely.
really cool.
Sure.
Yeah, it's really great. I mean, I get to see it all for sure. But I'd say over the last several years, I've seen a lot of great team dynamics between the parents. Where it's more like 50-50. But yes, many times it is.
Sure.
There's a primary for sure. Yeah.
So when you come in, do you sit with the family like and outline a game plan and say, hey, this is where we want to go? Is that kind of the process, or is it like unique for each individual?
It is unique, but I set all that up. I talk about it in the interview, and I let them think about it, because they, need to decide if I'm aligned with what they want to do. And, as much as I put it all together in the newborn care agreement, everybody signs it. When you show up, sometimes all of that gets thrown out the window.
Yeah, totally. You got a whole new game going on, right?
It really does. And so you really do have to flex with that.
Sure.
And you have to be ready for change. And things change. And so being a good communicator and also knowing how to read the room and read the situation. I mean, I'm sometimes just in the room, but I have to be there, but I'm not needed.
Right.
And I can tell, all of a sudden all this stuff is happening, like, serious conversations or whatever. And I just kind of, make my way.
Yeah.
And then I just say,
out,
hey, I'm just going to be in the next room.
Sure.
Like, I just kind of flow in and out as needed.
Yeah. So one thing that's kind of crazy, at least would be to me, if you're kind of, let's say, you're in with the family for 12 weeks. I mean, that's got to be hard to leave, right? I mean, that's a bond,
Yes, it's hard. The family that I just wrapped a 12-week with, they've flown me out multiple weekends. Sure. They're in another state. And so it's been nice. And I'm going to do their Thanksgiving trip with them. So I do sometimes still get to see, but not always. And so, it's I definitely shed a tear or two in private for sure.
Sure, absolutely.
Because it gets, it's a very deep bond that I have with the babies, and with the families, but mostly the babies.
Sure. Yeah, no, absolutely. And we work with a ton of small business owners all the time, right? So throw a couple business questions at you. I mean, obviously what you do is a passion of love, right? This is a calling for you, but it's now a business.
Yes.
So how do you handle both sides of that? Because I that's really challenging, right?
Honestly, I'm still learning. I
Yeah.
mean, if you'd have told me 10 years ago that one day I was going to be a business owner, I was
Sure.
like, no way. That's
Right, right. And
crazy.
that business owner doesn't necessarily align with what your passion is, right? I mean, you
Right.
got to deal with hard things sometimes, you know?
Yeah. And so thankfully, the way that my business has grown has allowed me to bring in professionals, to
Sure.
have a business coach
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
have,
Accounting and all that
yeah, have
support. Yeah.
people help me and support me. But absolutely, I'm still learning,
Yeah, yeah.
for sure. And hopefully, I'm getting to the point where I need more help. So yeah, definitely learning. Every
Sure.
day I'm learning something new and it's really cool.
I love it. Good for you. So tell me, Marissa, a little bit, what's your plan? I mean, where do you want to see this go?
I mean, primarily, I would just love to have the opportunity to serve families through my company
Hmm.
versus them having to seek out other like
Sure.
agencies or like, just like being able to connect with us directly.
Hmm.
That would be great for people to know about your baby hotline because there's a
Sure.
lot of new families out there suffering in silence or that don't have family support
Sure.
and just don't know that I'm here and what I do and how I do it. And so I would love to just see this company grow in a way that's where it almost becomes kind of like a household name. Like
Yeah.
when you think babies, you think Luxe Baby Custom
Yeah.
Newborn Care.
Yeah. So, I mean, but that also sounds like there's going to be people you need to train and develop, right? In that process.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what I love about my industry is I have so many wonderful people. Like, right now I said I have a little group of people that I've onboarded, and these are women that I've worked with over the past 8 years. I've known them.
Sure.
In some cases, we've worked on jobs together as a team. And they all really adhere to the respectful and responsive care.
Sure.
They're all well versed in the gentle sleep conditioning. So that's really important to me because it's hard for me to bring somebody in and duplicate you and what you do and how you do it.
100%. Yeah, that culture.
So that's also going to be something new for me, but I'm
Sure.
also very excited because I have some really great people in the wings.
Oh, I love it. So tell me, is it worthwhile for like potential new parents or even, newer parents to reach out to you ahead of time, like before they have the baby, whether they're pregnant or they're thinking about it? I mean, is there things that you can do at that point to kind of help them and coach them?
Oh, absolutely. A lot of my families mostly reach out months in advance.
Okay.
I think 7 months was the earliest I've been booked out. Yeah, so it just depends on what your goals are. But yes, let's get organized and
Sure. Get it in
figure it
place.
out before the baby gets here.
Right.
So that you're not hitting the wall. You're not
Sure.
hitting so many walls. And so that you can actually enjoy the experience and have that,
Rather
they
than the
say that
stress,
fog
right?
and
Yeah.
they say, oh, I didn't remember the first 2 months because I was so sleep deprived. And we don't want that to be your journey.
Sure. Yeah, totally. So share are there a couple things, maybe tips and tricks that you have in your bag of tools that you could give people that would really help them a lot as they go into this kind of journey?
So you mean as far as my job?
Yeah, yeah. Like, are there any things that you see repetitively, like with most of your clients that you're like, no, we can do this, and it's like a pretty quick, easy fix? Or any things like
for
that?
families.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The biggest thing is in the beginning, the babies are crying a lot.
Yeah,
They're just getting used to life outside of the womb,
Sure.
and the parents are adjusting and getting to know their baby. And so everybody is kind of like, it's a tense, and the parents are nervous and a little scared and
Yeah.
apprehensive. And the baby is completely stressed out.
Yeah.
And usually what happens is they don't know what to do for
Sure.
the baby. And so my biggest advice to new parents is just give yourself grace, give your baby grace, take a breath,
Sure.
spend some time just one-on-one, give that direct eye contact.
That bond, yeah.
Look at your baby, talk to your baby.
Sure.
Be aware of the clock. Your baby's screaming his head off. When did the baby eat last?
Sure.
When did I change the diaper last? Because those are things that can just completely
aren't
thought about. And
Right.
it's not because they're doing anything wrong. It's just this is a
Overwhelmed,
whole
right?
new,
Yeah,
yeah,
so
it's a
much going
whole
on.
new world.
Sure.
Baby is screaming. I
Mhm.
mean, when I hear a crying baby, I tense. I
Yeah.
get tense,
Yeah.
and it's stressful because I just want to figure out how to get this baby to stop
Sure.
crying.
Sure.
So just something as simple as that usually eases a lot of the problems. And
Sure.
if the baby is crying beyond, then there could be other things, like
Yeah.
the baby could be in pain. Maybe the baby, and a lot of people don't know that the baby needs to burp after they
Sure.
eat.
Yeah.
So that could be a really big
Totally.
issue too.
100%,
But
right?
just those simple little things, start with that.
Sure.
Really pay attention to your baby. Be mindful, like when you're feeding the baby, look at your baby,
Mhm.
communicate with your baby, because it's looking at you. It's
Yeah.
looking,
It's absorbing.
it's
Yeah.
looking
Yeah.
for you to give it the love and attention that it needs.
Totally. How about some travel tips? Because it sounds like a lot of your clients probably, whether affluent or whatever, but they travel a lot.
Yes.
So how traveling with the newborn baby, any kind of tips and tricks that you can throw out there that's helpful?
Yes, for sure. Gosh, traveled so much. Honestly, I usually have a list. I start with a list. And of course, that changes over time based on the age of the baby. And
Sure.
maybe we've gotten rid of certain gear and now we've got new gear. So the first thing, I start with a list, and then I find out where are we going, where are we staying. I make sure whether sometimes I'm communicating with the team or a PA, making sure, or I'm the one directly emailing and making sure that we have everything that we need.
Sure.
What are they providing for us? That lets me know I can scratch that off the list. And
Yeah,
now I
100%.
need to bring all these things. But having a diaper bag that has all of the essentials.
Yep. I mean, I remember the diaper bag is like, it's a plan, right?
It's a whole thing.
It's like, this thing's got to be buttoned down, because if we miss part A, all hell can break loose.
I've got a list for the diaper bag and a list for a packing list.
Yeah,
so the diaper bag, I mean, and something for on the road that people don't think about is having a well-stocked toiletry bag.
Sure.
So like, you never know when your baby is going to just start teething or maybe get a cold
100%.
or is going to, get sick, or you don't know what it's going to need. So just making sure that you have everything in that toiletry bag.
Sure.
Have that digital thermometer.
Right.
Have that nose aspirator. Have all
totally.
of the things.
Ready to
all
go.
the lotions and potions.
100%.
And keep it with you.
Sure.
A lot of times, even when before I'm boarding, whether it's, whatever it is, motor transportation we're on, I always have to tell everybody the diaper bag needs to go in this car with me and the baby. It needs to stay with me at all times. I make sure that I'm holding onto that diaper bag, or it's going to get grabbed by somebody and I won't have it.
Sure.
And it's those moments that you don't have it.
Pure panic.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, I was in Marrakesh and I was in one car.
Right.
And the family was in the other car with the baby, the parents, and I had the diaper bag. The baby had a meltdown. We didn't have they didn't have the passy.
Right.
And I was like, oh my God. But that's and it can happen so fast.
Yeah. 100%.
You just got to make sure that diaper bag is with you. And if you're separating from the baby and the parents, make sure that they have it.
Yeah, that baby is the diaper bag, right? that they go together 100%.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, it's a fantastic conversation. Anything else that you want to add into it?
Just, I guess, if you're looking for any kind of support, for whether it's newborn care or sleep consulting or just some reassurance as a new parent, please reach out to us at Luxe Baby Custom Newborn Care. You can find me on Instagram at Luxe Baby Care and on our website, luxebabycare.com.
I love it. So, Marisa, thank you so much for being with us. Luxe Baby Newborn Care, right?
Yes,
okay.
yes.
And you've got the website, and it's also down below. So if you need it, look down below here, and you can definitely catch up with Marisa. But thank you so much for your time.
Thank you
it's been
so
a
much
pleasure
for having
chatting with
me.
you.
Thank you.
You bet.